Have you ever seen anyone with that Olympic gold medal, big shiny belt on their waist, or big trophy held high above their head, the universal symbol of winning, of victory? Have you ever seen anybody do that didn't have fantastic coaches or mentors that contributed to their journey?
No. A lot of them just had one person around them, but that's enough. But no, always someone else. I never called someone and said, hey, will you be my mentor? But I kind of seek out the high performers who have big hearts, and I just watch them. I just watch them and I learn from them. I've had a couple people reach out to me, like when Missy and I won our first gold medal, this woman, Gabrielle Reese, who's one of my heroes in life, she called me and she's like, Kerri, you don't know me, but I'm proud of you. And if you need anything, I've been where you're about to go to, with notoriety and all these things. And that to me was such a powerful thing, and so, but in my adult life, I haven't been afraid of asking for help. I seek out what I'm curious about. If I feel insecure about something or dumb, ignorant about something, I go and try to educate myself, all through people who are kicking ass and doing it. Not through books necessarily, not through these things, but through the people who are actually living it. Like Laird Hamilton and Gabby Reese, they're married. He's big wave surfer. He's mid-50s, just fucking crushing it and getting better and better in his life at the same sport he's been doing since he was born, basically. Gabby's the same. They're married. She's kicking ass. Her career is evolving with time and with her priorities. And those to me are the biggest role models because they have it all. They're physical, they're following their inspirations, they're creating this beautiful life, they're doing it together. And they live inspired lives. That's what I want. And so I just kind of surround myself by those types of people, and it works out.
I thought to myself that it makes such a difference if you're around other people that have, similar goals. You said earlier, moving in the same direction or looking the same way. You have similar values, similar goals, and you don't have all those little trifles and petty fights going on in your mind or in the background. It's like similar values, similar goals, we're moving here.
Yeah.
And when you have that alignment, when you have your peer group in alignment like that, I think it's such a valuable thing that I had to move away from a lot of people that I grew up with that they had very different goals in mind.
Yeah.
And most of them had no goals. They were just going through the day,
Yeah.
So I had to move away from that. And when you start
That's ballsy.
The iterations of finding people that have bigger goals and bigger outcomes in mind and are taking action towards that, then I found I'm certain you feel this way, that there's the amount of work that you do for yourself, and there's another level of work that you would do because you had a coach or a mentor that they invested in you, and you feel like you owe that to them, and you'd work harder. And there's another level of work that you'll do for your teammate that they're dependent. They've tethered their life to yours, that they've trusted you so much or committed so much that you're in some ways responsible for their outcomes as much that that they would do the things, so you have to do the thing.
Yeah, responsibility is a very powerful thing. I think a lot of people want to hide from it, but this is kind of a Jordan Peterson thing. It's like responsibility is essential in your life to having purpose, to feeling quality, like for your quality of life. And for me, I had a great piece of marriage advice once, and it says, when you feel like running apart, that's when you run together. And that's one of the hardest things to do ever, and I think it's such great advice. And it's like the same thing when you're parenting, like when your kid seems most unlovable, that's when they need love most, and my partner, Misty, and I, we played in 3 Olympics together. We won 3 gold medals, and we never left a game or lost a game and walked away in different directions. We made a conscious effort, and it was kind of who we are, but we saw other teams do this. We're like, we're never doing that. We are literally leaving arm in arm off this court because this is just a step, and I think a lot of people on teams don't do that. I think there's, like you just said, a lot of bickering, bantering, a lot of pointing the finger. I almost lost my marriage, and for years I was just pointing my finger. And finally it's like, that's not getting me anywhere. My husband doing his thing. And then finally when we started doing this, it opens up the whole new world, right? It's that ownership thing.
You ever see anybody like that didn't have a good coach or a good mentor or a good support team in the background to help them in some way?
Never.
Yeah.
Takes a village.
What would you say to somebody who thinks that they're going to accomplish high-level goals by themselves?
It's time to wake up because you're dreaming. Again, when I moved to Boston, when I moved to the Pedros, it was, number one was my environment. The people that surrounded me, Rhonda was at the gym at that time. She was sort of like my rabbit. She was like, anything she could do, I wanted to do better. She went and won a bronze medal, and She won the junior worlds, and I was training with her every day. And I sort of started to have this confidence and belief that I really could do anything she could do. There were a couple key factors for the first gold. Like, no one had ever done it. So I had to have this real life belief that I could. So, I mean, to this day, I still practice, visualization. I still practice the power of positive thoughts. And I have a mantra for myself. I would write down my goals at the beginning of every year. And like you said, it wasn't like when I was 16, the goal wasn't Olympic champion. It was win a World Cup or, win senior nationals. And then when I was 17, it was be junior world champion. 18, it was win a grand slam, like whatever the goals were. And then the key areas of focus that I needed to work on in order to reach those goals. And in 2012, the goal was simply Olympic champion. That was it. And every night before I went to bed, I would train my brain the same way I trained my body. I would spend 10 minutes with my eyes closed before I fell asleep, visualizing every single aspect of that day at the Olympics. I would picture packing my bag, walking to the bus, putting my headphones on, taping my fingers, warming up, being in the chute, them calling my name, my first match, my second match, my third match, the finals. I would picture, the gold medal going around my neck, hearing the national anthem, watching the flag being raised. And I did that every single night for years. So on the day of my first Olympics, it felt like
Tuesday.
Yeah, it felt like Tuesday. Exactly. It felt like, all right, it's time to go get that. It's time to go get that gold. And the second thing really that you talked about, Apollo, and the attention to detail, perfect practice makes perfect, not practice, perfect practice. Everything I won both of my Olympic games in, I learned in the first 6 months of judo. But I spent 20 years perfecting those things, over and over and over. The monotony of, that's what sometimes I find so interesting about MMA, learning these new disciplines and maintaining judo, like you talked about, learning, but also trying to maintain, is that like, everyone wants you to run, but I'm like, no, listen, let me walk first, or let me crawl. Now I'm gonna walk. Now I'm gonna run. Like I wanna practice the basics and become so fundamentally sound that they're perfect. Because in a fight, it's never gonna go the way you expect. But if you have a sound muscle memory knowledge of what you're supposed to do and the reactions you're supposed to have and the instincts are there, chances are the fight's gonna go more your way than not your way. So yeah, perfect practice makes perfect, and a lot of visualizing, a lot of goal setting and real belief. Like I'm talking like I woke up and I was like, that medal is mine. They're gonna have to kill me to take it.
You need the right engineers, and everything that we do is like, you don't want to be a Ferrari because there's a lot of talent out there. You don't want to be a Ferrari with Honda mechanics. Like, you need those right engineers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you need those right engineers that know that car, that can dissect that car, that know exactly what's wrong with it as soon as they see it. There's been people that have gone somewhere, but yeah, it would be extremely hard to just do something on your own. People do need people. And the one thing that I will say, you don't just need people or good people. If you want to win, you want to be a winner, you need the right people. And when you have the right people, that's a big difference between just good people. And that's why I've been able to spirit and take it to the top, because one, I'm very honest with myself. My sole job is to just give whatever it is that I have in me, and that's my best. To follow the game plan, to go out there and see if I could manifest whatever it is that I have in my mind. While at the same time it's not taking myself too serious. That's more if I can kind of sum myself up in in that way. I'm that way. I'm very goal driven. I'm very ambitious, but I'm also very carefree. Like, I'm okay with losing if it happens, because I know that I give what I give, and it feels beautiful, because then I can see that failure as an opportunity, that there's so much more room to grow.
I fucking hate losing. but you'll understand this. I'm not afraid
So
to
do I,
lose. I f***ing hate losing,
But you're not afraid of
but I'm not afraid to lose. I have enough confidence that I know that I'm going to win a lot more than I'm going to lose in life.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to win a lot more, and occasionally losing is part of that process. Occasionally you get slapped in the ass is part of the process to accomplishing the next thing and accomplishing the next thing. So I'm not afraid to lose, but there are a lot of people out there that they feel like they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to have that embarrassment or humiliation that goes along with public losses. That you tell your friends or you tell your family or you tell the world that hey, I'm gonna accomplish this thing, or I'm gonna win this next fight. I'm gonna accomplish this goal. And if that doesn't happen, there's some people that just I don't want to say their names out of respect because they're still very talented, but you've seen some people in your sport, for instance, that they have a loss or two and they're done. They're gonna go do something else.
Losing is not your identity.
Yeah.
Fighting should not be. People's opinions shouldn't be your identity.
Fantastic comment. Other people's opinions should never be more important to you than your opinion. You know who you are. From the time you were born, you lived with yourself. And if you start valuing a stranger's opinion about you more than you value your own opinion about you, that's a confidence problem. Yeah. And there probably needs to be some more competence in the background. But there's a reason. Henry's a multi-time champion in 2 different weight divisions. Henry's got an Olympic gold medal. Nobody has that combination in your sport. No. And it makes a lot of sense to me why other top athletes that are already champions, people like John Jones, is one of the most gifted and talented people, whatever else you think of anybody who thinks about him. I think he's one of the most gifted and talented people in that sport ever. Yeah. And it's hard to say that's not true. Champions train with other champions. You got to see somebody, if you want to be successful, you got to find somebody that's already done what you want to do, and you got to follow that recipe. You got to go take your knocks and look stupid and feel stupid, and you'll move right up the ranks. And the greatest shortcut to success is not some shortcut, some mystical freebie. The universe is going to give you some shit you don't deserve. So that's not reality. If you want to be successful, you have to find somebody who's already done what you want to do, and you have to do what they tell you to do. That given your situation, here's the next step. Here's the next step. Here's the next step. Those are people that I've seen had the very best outcomes in life.
You watch this video all the way through, and that tells me you're dedicated to learning more and earning far above average outcomes in your life. Congratulations for that. But now it's time to take action. If you could have earned those results by yourself, you would have done it already. My head coach has opened up a few spots on his high-demand calendar for an in-person, one-on-one strategy session to help you. On this call, we'll give you the pragmatic advice that you can implement tonight to get laser-focused on the right metrics and leave mediocrity far behind in your past. Click that link right now in the description below and apply for your call immediately. Do it now.